Welcome back to Say No to Lashon Hara, day 68. This entire series is being done as a zechut for the continued health of Chana Bat Samafega. If you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us on shlomo@wearechazak.com. Thank you very much. The Chafetz Chaim continues by talking about how terrible it is to speak Lashon Hara about a Talmid Chacham, a rabbi or a Torah scholar. Now, obviously, the same Isur, or the same prohibition against speaking against a regular Jew of any type is present when you speak about a great rabbi. However, a great rabbi who has Lashon Hara spoken about him actually is a exceedingly harmful type of Lashon Hara. Now, obviously, we have an obligation to honor Torah scholars, that we know. And speaking Lashon Hara is obviously the exact opposite of giving them honor. But it's not just that you're not honoring him. There's something much more problematic here, much more difficult than the fact that he is not being honored. When you speak badly about a Talmid Chacham, the people who are listening start to hear from you, whether you're saying it or not, that this person has a flaw. And if they have a flaw, then maybe they're not so holy or not so smart or not so ethically inclined. And if that's the case, Lashon Hara is actually saying, don't listen to the Talmid Chacham. Don't listen to the rabbi. Now, those wicked words will now turn around and cause the other person, the listener, to decide maybe not to speak to the rabbi about issues that he's got, not to ask halachic questions, to ignore specific teachings that that person has already spread in the community. Now, if that's the case, you effectively can cut out the influence of a rabbi or a Torah leader from that person's life forever. Sometimes the Lashon Hara is so devastating that it causes that person to lose respect, not only for that rabbi, but for all rabbis. Now, Chafetz Chaim says that one of the things that the Yetzer Hara does in order to convince someone that he is allowed to say that Lashon Hara is that the person says to themselves, yes, obviously, I would never speak Lashon Hara about a big rabbi, but that was like the rabbis when I grew up, with very long beards and tremendous Torah scholars. This guy, he's not such a big rabbi. He's not such a big Talmid Chacham. Not like the early generations where a Torah scholar was practically like a prophet. That's where it's a serious Avera. However, the Chafetz Chaim says that we know when we judge a Talmid Chacham, we always judge the level of a rabbi based on the generation that they're in. In fact, the Torah even says that you should take your halachic question El HaShofet, to the judge, by Yamim Ahem, that is present in those days. And don't say, I would love to take this question to the rabbi that passed away. En lecha ela HaShofet asher biyamecha. You only have the judge that is in your time. So in our day, in our time, if someone is rendered a rabbi, a posek, a dayan, a mashkiach, a rosh yeshiva, right? That statement indicates that they have the status of a Talmid Chacham vis-a-vis all of our generation. And speaking Lashon Hara about him, therefore, is the very serious Avera that we mentioned of speaking Lashon Hara about a Talmid Chacham. Now, you're also, obviously, not allowed to speak Lashon Hara even about someone who knows no Torah. The only time we talk about Lashon Hara being allowed is by a very clear and present Rasha, or an apikores, where someone is speaking heretical materials, so they can be a danger to people, so therefore it's not a problem. But we'll come back to that in later halachot. However, what we learn from here is that a lot of times the laws of Lashon Hara can actually have other ramifications, which have almost nothing to do with Lashon Hara. Not the damage you're causing to this person or the disrespect you're causing to this person, but robbing the other people, the listeners, of the respect that they have for the rabbis and Torah teachers, and through that, of their connection to the Torah itself. You're robbing those people of their connection to Hashem, which is a very, very profound and problematic issue. And the Chafetz Chaim feels it's very important to bring to our attention.